Oil prices rise as the Iran war drags on, but U.S. stocks inch to more records. Add AP News as your preferred source to see more of our stories on Google. Add AP News on Google. Add AP News as your preferred source to see more of our stories on Google. Share New York app. Oil prices rose Monday as the war with Iran threatens to drag on for longer, but the U.S. stock market nevertheless inched toward more records. The price for a barrel of Brent crude oil climbed 2.9% to settle at $104.21 after President Donald Trump said the U.S. Iran ceasefire was on life support after he rejected Iran's latest proposal to end their war. The rejection raises the stakes for Trump's trip this week to China, where he could urge President Xi Jinping to pressure Iran into making concessions. Xi has influence because China is the biggest buyer of Iran's sanctioned crude oil. The war has already sent the price for a barrel of Brent up from roughly $70 and delivered the blast of painful inflation through the global economy. That's because it has shut the Strait of Hormuz and kept oil tankers stuck in the Persian Gulf instead of delivering crude to customers worldwide. Still, the U.S. stock market has set a run of records on hopes that the war will not keep oil prices high for very long. Companies are meanwhile producing bigger profits than analysts expected, while signals suggest the U.S. economy is holding up even though households are feeling discouraged by expensive gasoline and tariffs. On Wall Street, the S&P 500 rose 0.2% from its prior all-time high set on Friday. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 95 points, or 0.2%, and the Nasdaq Composite added 0.1% to reach its own all-time high. Read more. The majority of stocks within the S&P 500 fell, even though the overall index rose. Among them was Mosaic, which reported much weaker results for the latest quarter than analysts expected. The fertilizer company is benefiting from higher prices for its products, but it's also contending with much higher prices for sulfur and other raw materials because of logistics snarls created by the war with Iran. Mosaic stock fell 1.8%. App Audio. Oil prices rise as the Iran war drags on, but U.S. stocks inch toward more records. U.S. stocks are holding steady. We hear more from AP business correspondent Damian Troyes. Stocks of companies whose customers have the least cushion to absorb higher gasoline prices also struggled, and Dollar General fell 7.6%. Businesses with big fuel bills likewise had sharp losses, including drops of 4.3% for Royal Caribbean and 3.2% for Southwest Airlines. Helping to offset that was Fox, which climbed 7.6% after reporting stronger profit and revenue for the latest quarter than analysts expected. More than 4 out of every 5 companies in the S&P 500 that have reported their results for the latest quarter so far have topped profit expectations, and they are on track to deliver overall growth of nearly 28%, according to FactSet. If that turns out to be the case, it would be the best growth since the end of 2021. It's not just U.S. companies muscling past analysts' profit expectations. Globally, companies are on track for their strongest growth in more than 4 years, according to Deutsche Bank strategists led by Binky Chatter. The boom in artificial intelligence technology has helped corporate profits rise at a faster rate than overall economies. Outside of earnings reports, Visa Homes USA soared 34% after Dreamfinders Homes offered to buy it in a deal valued at roughly $704 million. A combination would create the country's 7th largest homebuilder, and Dreamfinders is asking Visa's shareholders to push its management and board to okay the deal after making several attempts itself. Dreamfinders rose 5%. Tech stocks were also strong, continuing their big run amid the AI boom. Gains of 2% for NVIDIA and 6.5% for Micron Technology were the strongest forces pushing the S&P 500 upward. All told, the S&P 500 rose 13.91 points to 7,412.84. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added 95.31 to 49,700.